ever go to Google to just like quickly check the price of Bitcoin, you've probably done it a million times. But now you go and it's nothing, no chart, no price, it's just gone. Now, you might be thinking, oh, they probably just moved it. But here's the thing. You can still find stock charts instantly. Google Finance will eventually give you the crypto info, but it's buried. An extra step. It might seem like a small tech tweak, but it really makes you wonder, right? What's going on behind the scenes? So that's what we're diving into today on this deep dive, this whole Google crypto chart mystery. And we've got a recent article from Crypto News. They're a really well-respected crypto news outlet that we're going to be looking at.
Yeah.
This all started making waves over the weekend when people on X, formerly Twitter, of course, started noticing these missing charts. So let's unpack this a bit. Google had been displaying these crypto charts really prominently since 2018, and now, poof, gone.
And what's so fascinating is that they did it without any real announcement. I mean, this subtle shift, it's causing a stir precisely because it's Google, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have so much control over how we access information online. Even a small change like this can have ripple effects.
Right.
It's almost like, imagine your go-to resource for like just quickly checking the price of your favorite, digital asset. Just decide to stop showing it.
Yeah.
What message does that send, intentional or not?
Exactly. It's like when your favorite bookstore moves a section without telling anyone, and you're just left there like, why? And speaking of why, there's been some speculation that this is a sign that big finance, like traditional finance, is threatened by crypto. What do you think about that?
Well, it's natural to look for explanations, right? And the idea that traditional financial institutions, they might feel a little threatened by crypto's rise, that's not new. I mean, there have been concerns about, disruption to the established systems and all that.
Yeah.
But to say that this Google change is directly because of those concerns, I think that's a bit of a leap. I mean, we have to remember, Google's algorithms are incredibly complex, constantly changing based on user behavior, search patterns, and probably a million other factors we don't even know about.
Right. So if not a deliberate move to stifle crypto, what else could be going on? Could it just be a coincidence?
It's possible. Yeah. I mean, maybe this removal of the crypto price charts maybe is just a response to, well, something as simple as, maybe declining user interest. Or maybe they're testing a new approach to how they want to display financial data. It's really hard to say for sure without more transparency from Google, which, let's be honest, we rarely get.
Right.
But this does bring us to another really interesting point from the article. Apparently, Google searches for Bitcoin itself, like just the word Bitcoin, have actually hit a one-year low.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, whether that's connected to the whole removing of the charts or whether that's a sign of something more, well, that's kind of what we're here to explore, right?
Exactly. Right. Is it just people are not interested in Bitcoin anymore? Or is there something else going on? So we've got this dip in Google searches for Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And that's happening right around the same time that Google pulls these easily accessible crypto charts. So is this like a sign of waning interest? Or could it be something else entirely?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting. So the Crypto News article, they actually talk about some analysis from Ryan Lee. He's the chief analyst over at Bigot Research. And he points out that a similar dip in Bitcoin search interest, it actually happened earlier this year too.
Okay.
And get this, that dip was actually followed by a pretty significant surge in Bitcoin's price.
Hold on, so you're saying less interest could actually be a good thing for Bitcoin?
Yeah.
That's pretty counterintuitive.
It's not quite as simple as saying like less interest equals higher prices, but there could be a connection. Think about it this way. When hype is at its peak, everyone and their cousin is trying to buy Bitcoin, right? They're driven by FOMO emotion rather than like real strategy.
Yeah.
And that can actually artificially inflate the price. You get like a little bit of a bubble.
Right, because everyone's talking about it. So it's like maybe the price is a little high because of that.
Exactly. But then the hype dies down, the news cycle moves on, and what you're left with is the people who have a genuine understanding of and belief in Bitcoin, right?
Right.
The what some might call like the savvy investors.
Okay.
They're not swayed by these like fleeting trends. They're looking at the long-term potential.
Yeah.
And often this is where the real opportunities emerge.
So this quieter period, at least in terms of like how many people are Googling it, that could be less about a lack of interest and more about a shift in the type of investor that's paying attention.
Yeah, that's one way to interpret it. It's like that old saying, buy when there's blood in the streets, even if it's your own. Of course, this is just one interpretation of the data, and we're definitely not offering financial advice here.
Of course.
But it does make you think about the different forces at play in the crypto market, right?
It really does. So we've got Google making this very curious move with their charts. Bitcoin searches are at a yearly low, and historical patterns suggest this could actually be a positive sign for Bitcoin's price. It's a lot to unpack. What does this all mean for someone who's maybe listening to this right now, someone who's, interested in crypto, but not really sure what to make of all of this news?
Well, I think the biggest takeaway here is the importance of looking beyond just the headlines. Like, actually do your own research. It's so easy to get caught up in the hype or the fear, but taking a step back to analyze trends, understand different perspectives, and then form your own conclusions, I think that is incredibly valuable, especially in a world that's just saturated with information,
Absolutely. Yeah. Don't just follow the crowd. Think for yourself. Now, this whole Google situation, it makes me wonder, do you think they'll bring back those crypto charts? Or is this like the new normal?
Yeah.
Tough to say. Google marches to the beat of its own drum,
Right.
Especially when it comes to their algorithms. It's like their little secret sauce. But do you think maybe they're just like waiting to see how the whole crypto market evolves? Or maybe they've got something totally different planned? Who knows?
Yeah, it's hard to say for sure. But whatever their reasoning is, I think this whole situation really highlights just how much influence Google has.
Yeah.
Even when it comes to like finance and technology.
Right.
It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it.
It really is. They have so much power in like shaping how we view information, what we see, what we don't see.
Yeah, and what's considered important,
Yeah.
what's worth paying attention to, and what's not, I guess.
It makes you wonder, are they going to bring those charts back? Like the second Bitcoin starts blowing up again, when everybody and their brother is searching for Bitcoin prices again, will those charts magically reappear?
It's totally possible.
Yeah.
Like, they've got their finger on the pulse.
Yeah.
Even if they're not like officially endorsing it or anything, it makes you think.
It really does. And, it makes you think about all the other ways that, information is curated and presented to us online. It's not always obvious. What we see, what we don't see, it all kind of comes together to paint a picture, right? Of what really matters, what we should be paying attention to.
Absolutely. It's like, we're not just passive consumers of information anymore. We're being guided,
Yeah.
And in a world with so much information, it's easy to get overwhelmed.
Right.
That's why it's more important than ever to be able to really think critically about our sources, about the gatekeepers of knowledge, basically. Who are they? What's their angle? What might they be leaving out? Those are important questions to ask.
I completely agree. And that's what we're all about here on The Deep Dive. We're here to cut through all that noise, all the hype, the misinformation, and give you the information you need, to make up your own mind.
Exactly. We're not here to tell you what to think, but to give you the tools to think for yourself.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So next time you're online, whether you're checking the price of Bitcoin or just, diving into a topic that you're curious about, take a moment to think about the source. Okay. Look at it with a critical eye. What's their perspective? What could be missing from the story? A little bit of critical thinking can go a long way in this crazy digital world. Until next time, I'm your host, signing off. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.